Bill Belichick's quarterback room could be really, really good by the time the season starts. And one of the reasons that is true, Jaden Rashada is going to take a visit to Chapel Hill. What's up, kinfolk? It's RJ Young. I am not on a step mill. If this is your first time watching the #1 college football show, welcome. Thank you for joining us here. We talk college football year round. If that is something that you're into, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, like this video, and you let me know in the comments below. Do you think Jaden Rashada should transfer to North Carolina? This news comes from CBS Sports. John Talty, Chris Hummer breaking that news. Adding to this intrigue that is Bill Belichick's North Carolina. Already, we have a $10 million head coach whose NFL pedigree is second to none, who's coming into a sport that he really hasn't coached at this level before, but he is running North Carolina like he might the New England Patriots, right down to his general manager, Michael Lombardi, is also having worked in the NFL for a very long time. He's got an NFL-style staff. Freddie Kitchens is his offensive coordinator. Steve Belichick, his son, is the defensive coordinator. But he seems to have what I think is the most dominant thought in mind when it comes to building any football program. You got to nail the quarterback. And while he had got the 4-star recruit and Bryce Baker coming in, he is watching Ryan Brown go out. Okay, but that was after Gio Lopez decided that he wanted to transfer from South Alabama to North Carolina. And Max Johnson is working his way back from injury. So that's 3 guys that you would expect to be in the mix. But if you would like to have Bryce Baker as your quarterback in waiting, Gio Lopez, perhaps get a little bit more competition from a guy who might not have everything back that he wants in Max Johnson, meaning getting back into really getting this thing up and going after suffering what was a horrific injury last year. And you got an opportunity to trade up into what I think is a high 4-star and a great QB in Jaden Rashada. When Rashada was playing at Arizona State, he was really good. That part, I think, is beyond doubt. When he went into the transfer portal and came out at Georgia, we were all kind of interested, right? Because at the time, we did not expect that he would unseat a Carson Beck, but we did think that perhaps he could keep pace with Gunnar Stockton. That proved not to be the case. Gunnar Stockton is the star quarterback and starter at Georgia, and Ryan Puglisi behind him, Ezekiah behind him. You're in a good spot if you're Georgia. And Rashada needed the reset, I think. He got a lot of great experience. He got to play on a team that won a championship, SEC championship, and went deep into the college football playoff. He also got to see what it's like to play on a really good program. And he gets to go back into the portal and perhaps come out at a place where he could play right away and they would need him. I've been following closely what Rashada has decided to do, because when he didn't come out of the winter portal, I was going, okay, this is interesting, because he's going to gamble on there being a spot for him to land come the spring portal window. And then we got the curveball that was the Nico Iamaleava holdout, which has become an inflection point in college football around name, image, and likeness. But we've also seen quarterbacks be so transient at a time when we expected most of the star quarterbacks to have their spot pretty much secured. Joey Aguilar at UCLA is one of those guys that I'm also watching now that the Bruins have informed their quarterback room that they expect to add Nico Iamaleava there to compete for the job. There's a lot of ways of looking at this if you're a quarterback. Most quarterbacks want to go to a place where they're not going to have that much competition and they get the opportunity to play right away. For fans, that kind of rubs us the wrong way, because we want to see you compete and win the job. We want to see competition. We want to see iron sharpening iron, and we want to see the best man win the job. If that means that you got to get pushed out of your comfort zone to a higher stress level, we're all for that. Most quarterbacks do not want to invite that kind of scrutiny for a number of reasons. At the top of the list is, if you have to go with this person, they know it, you know it, and they get to dive into the book. They get to throw everything they have into this without having to wonder if they should be looking over their shoulders. And perhaps that is one reason why they might not play well. But that's something you also would want to know when you get into high-pressure situations. And it can go either way, right? If you are all bought in on your system, on your coach, on your program, let's say Arch Manning, Steve Sarkisian, Texas, it's not really the kind of pressure that you need coming from someone behind you. It is the pressure of not wanting to let down your head coach, the university, and fans. But when you are at this stage in the recruiting process, you're in the portal, you are a high-valued quarterback, and you're going to yet another school, a third. If you're, well, we're not going to count Florida. We really aren't. We're going to go Arizona State. We're going to go Georgia. We're going to go North Carolina, if it's Carolina at all. You would like to not have to deal with the Merc, tag above your head, because that just doesn't feel good in college football. Free agency in college football does not have the same positive connotation that it does in the NFL. We have not yet got to a place where we are content to let guys move around as much as they've been moving around, right? Many of us would like to see you choose a university, mostly because we chose a university, right? I say this often. Oklahoma is family. It's where I got my graduate degree. I live in Tulsa. I went to the University of Tulsa. If the team sucks, I don't change my team, right? For nothing, my student loans went there. These are things that are intrinsic to us. And for many of us, you get handed this stuff down. And it's a little bit deeper, the roots, I think, in college football or in college than the NFL. For one, you have some claim. You have some stake in a university. Yeah, if you went to school there, if it holds your degree. Like I remember when the University of Tulsa was up for having its accreditation pool because it got in such a financial bind that we all, alumni, were going, okay, get this fixed quick, fast, in a hurry. You're not going to devalue my education and what I did when I went to school there. Those sorts of things. Whereas Dallas Cowboys, that's Jerry Jones. That's his team. That I root for the team doesn't really matter. He's going to make all the decisions, right? What I find to be more interesting about college is you can have guys with money move coaches on and buy players. We've seen it. What is more interesting about North Carolina right now is we haven't seen what Bill Belichick's football team is going to look like. He's doing all the right things. He's saying all the right things. The right people are buying in from the NFL level, but I keep saying this. It's different here. Now, who would I compare Bill Belichick's first year to? I would like to see what he does if he can do what Coach Prime did at Colorado. Would he have a losing season or would he come out the gate firing? That's going to be one, right? Two is, are his players going to be the kind that we talk about? Are they going to win games? Are they going to be in contention to win conference championships? We're going to get a really good feel for that now. The only mark against the Belichick experience right now, actually there are two marks against that experience right now, has to be how he got the job, right? Which is going over the athletic director's head, so much so that they need to change how they do business over there, because you had boosters and regents that went to go Bill Belichick without really getting buy-in from everybody they needed to. There's an order of operations. There is a chain of command that probably needs to be respected there. And the second thing is his girlfriend is kind of loud. That's it. She's kind of loud. I get it. I understand. That's her man, and she's doing everything she can to cape for him, which is what I would expect. But when you got the athletic probably getting tipped on, you should go open records request some of the things she's saying to us. You can see that's not necessarily getting down the way that you would like it to if you're the athletic department, because some of the things that she had said to them and the ways in which she is trying to market Chapel Bill, I just wish it was more. Just turn it down a little bit. Just a little bit. You know what I'm saying? We don't need to know all of it. And now you're bringing in a Jaden Rashada to take a visit. I think this is a slam dunk. Land that dude. Get the number one quarterback in the portal and let him compete with Bryce Baker, with Gio Lopez, with Max Johnson for the starting job. And you could be off and running to what could be a very cool era of football at North Carolina and maybe make that $10 million you're paying him annually look like a bargain.